Today is May 1st, 2022. I now have, I'd say, over 90% of the garden planted out, maybe a little better. I'll actually start up here in the north corner of the property. This is where I have most of the berry bushes, so as I planted last year and they're starting to come back in really well, I've got these two blackberry bushes, I've got two blueberry bushes just next to them, some kind of really beautiful flower. I don't know what this is. This was here from the previous owner. But along the fence line, I'll have to come in close. Got a few different nice flowers. I've got, here we go, right down here. You can see a tomato plant, and I've got a few in here that I put in yesterday. These are some of the extras that I had. I got a whole lot of seed from my sister, and so I kind of went a little crazy. So I'm gonna have lots of tomatoes, and I'm gonna use the fence as like natural trellising for that. I added this azalea just a day or two ago, just to add a little pop of color here in the middle of the yard. And then coming up here to the herb bed, well, first of all, this is one of the mint plants that I got that for right now I'm keeping in a container. I've got it hanging here. It's got really good sunlight, really nice to look at. I may plant it in the yard, we'll see, because I don't care if it spreads. I like mint, but I've got it up there for now. Oh, it looks like something's been digging in my herb bed. I'm gonna have to take care of that. Lavender, some rosemary, some rhubarb, oregano, horseradish. Oh, I just put in some sunflower seeds in the back, some nasturtium that I bought, some snapdragon, columbine, several strawberries. Here's one that I got from Crabtree Farm, but then I've got some little ones here. Oh, this is one someone dug up. I'm gonna have to figure out what happened. Well, that's a bummer. All right, then along this fence line where I've got the raspberries, I also put in some more tomato plants and some decorative gourds that my friend Deanna gave me. Here's one of the raspberries. This is from last year's cane, so this is what should give me some fruit this year. But I've got a whole line of them all through here. 4 raspberry plants that are looking really healthy. And my neighbor behind me here just cleared out all the shrubbery and smaller trees through here. He's planning to put in a privacy fence, and that means right now I'm getting lots of really good sunlight. But of course the crown jewel is the garden beds here. I put a few more extra tomatoes here in the just directly in the ground because I didn't know what else to do, and I'm using that old door just as grass suppression. So here in the west bed we've got some onions interspersed with some potato and kale. If you can see those little rings, those are the potato that I put from seed, believe it or not. It's a variety, a hybrid variety called Clancy that grows from seed. Here I've got oats on the left and wheat on the right, and then come around on the other side of this tall trellis and lines for more Florida weave trellising. These are 2 different kinds of lentils, some green lentils and some brown, I think pardina is what they're called. And they're starting to come in nicely. And you can see nasturtium all around the bed that I direct seeded, so I'll have a lot of nasturtium soon. Over here in the north bed, this is more onions, and I've got 3 pepper plants that I bought at Crabtree Farm. That one there's going to be an orange one called Aura. This one is called Tawny Port. It should be kind of purplish. And then this one over here is a spicy one called the Thai Dragon. And then you can see interspersed in here a whole bunch of tomato plants, and I've got the trellising already kind of put in place, and basil. So the idea is as the tomatoes get tall, I can cut off the smaller branches once they kind of die out and give space for the basil to finish growing in. Then over here in the south bed is more tomatoes, and you can see more trellising. So I've got these poles here because I'm going to do a Florida weave for my trellising this year. I've got garlic with more tomatoes and some nasturtium around the edges, and the grids that you see are where I'm trying to get some quinoa to grow. I've planted quinoa seed twice at the intersection of each of these lines. Has not come in yet that I can tell. So I don't know, I'm trying to start it from seed indoors as well to see if maybe I can at least identify it better. I saw one that came up today. And then 2 beds here that I've been kind of bypassing. Here's the central bed and the east bed, both of which are doing the 3 sisters technique, and I've got another video that I'm working on about that that'll kind of document it throughout the year. But it's been coming in really well, especially the last week or so. A lot of early vigorous growth. This is a mix of corn, bean, and squash. I did go a little crazy on the different varieties. I probably should not have done 7 varieties of bean and like 7 or 8 varieties of squash. And I've got 2 different kinds of corn in here. So far it has not all germinated, but a lot of it has. And, we'll just kind of see where it goes. And then of course, what I sometimes also think of as the crown jewel, like this is the orchard here. And this is a little over a month's worth of growth from pruning. They are all coming in so beautifully. Just so much vigorous growth happening right now. I've got more on that over time as well. But I've got the 2 apples. I've got a cherry that I moved from the front, a peach, 2 pears that I moved from the front. I added this daylily from Crabtree that I think is, I remember it's supposed to be like an orange daylily. No, not an orange, I'm sorry, a pink daylily. I've got a pomegranate. I've got a fig that I bought, and then the fig that my friend Ben gave me, it came back to life. It managed to survive somehow. I was thinking it was dead, but it's got some, this is from about a week's worth of growth now. It finally came back in. I was getting ready to replace it. And then over here, on the other side of the fence, some ginger that I just bought from Crabtree as well. So you can see one of the ginger plants there already has sprouts. And the little circle over there is more ginger. It just hasn't sprouted yet. So some stuff I was seeing online said this does better when it doesn't have too much direct light. It does have a lot of direct light right now in the afternoon, but most of the day this is going to be dappled light because it's kind of surrounded by all these trees. So hopefully I picked a good spot, and I just now need to keep it watered. And then I've got some flowers going out front and a few more things I'm going to be starting inside. Oh, and I guess last thing to point out, these are the clippings that I took when I pruned the fruit trees a few months ago. And I had them in water for a while, and they leafed out beautifully, but they weren't growing roots. So as they were starting to like lose their leaves, I did a Hail Mary and put them in these pots, and some of them have taken. I've tried to keep the soil really moist to see if that kind of helps. But the fact that they've been in here for several weeks now, and they've still got leaves. A few of them are putting on new leaves. Not all of them, but it looks like at least half of them survived, which is really exciting. So I may have managed to propagate some of these trees, which is really awesome. Okay, truly last thing. So here is one more mint that I got from Crabtree that for the moment's in a pot. And then in here, this is going to be a Mother's Day present. My mom wanted an upside down tomato planter, so I made one. I just got a planter with some kind of burlappy type material on the bottom here. I cut some holes to put the tomatoes through. I've got one here, one coming out over here, and then up top I added a basil and I put in some impatient seeds, and at least 2 of the seeds it looks like have sprouted, so hopefully we'll get some nice impatiens coming in too.